My daughter just walked in, so I'm smiling. My daughter. I'm embarrassed him, I know. Have you taken the opportunity to read the scripture we have up here? And I'm also wondering how much time you devoted to thinking about the servant. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could go back in time 2,000 years and talk to a servant? Fortunately, I know of such a servant. He's in another household, of course, and his name is Stephen. Now, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take our sundials and move them back 2,000 years and talk to Stephen. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everybody. I'm Stephen. I am so excited. My master sent me out here to the highway and the hedges to invite people. Now don't get me wrong. There's countless number of my fellow servants back at the house, working hard, getting the banquet ready. But, he sent me out here. Did I tell you I was so excited to be out here? This is great. There's somebody coming up the highway. I could tell it's a man. Yeah, it's a man. And he looks like he's walking alone. Yeah, he's walking alone. I don't think I know him. He doesn't look familiar. He's carrying a sack, though, over his shoulder. And I'm going to say this man's a farmer. It makes sense. We just had the harvest. He's probably got some grain in the sack. Now, the marketplace is right behind me by the city gate. So he's probably going to sell his grain back there. Let's see. My strategy will be to ask the farmer, can I walk with you to the marketplace, and invite him to the banquet? Oh, wait, he's here. Sir. Next slide, please. Now, I will finish this story between the farmer and Stephen, but you have to come back next week to hear it. I did that on purpose, you know that. All right, now that's slide 2. Okay, we're on slide 2. Get David on slide 2. Okay, most of you maybe know me. My name's Dave Dominski, married to my bride, 42 years, Elizabeth. We have 4 children and 8 grandchildren, do a lot of babysitting, which is great because 5 of the grandchildren are in this area and 3 are in Nashville. So we do a lot, and it's fun. I'm glad that we were here to do that for them. Elizabeth and I came here a couple of months before the pandemic, and we started to meet people. And then, like a lot of us, we stayed home for a year. We worship from home. And now we've come back a couple of months, and we're trying to meet people all over again. Now, I've been a Christian for 42 years. And I'm going to call it a blessing. I've been blessed for 42 years to be involved in evangelism. You probably can't name a program I haven't been involved in at one time or another, okay? Because of different situations, I switched ministries into something else. Kids come along, job, different. So I didn't stop doing evangelism. I just changed horses, so to speak, okay? If you are interested, and I'm going to say, if you're interested to stand on the highway, like Stephen, I can help you do that. Next slide, please. Evangelism. I've heard that term for 42 years. What does that mean when you say evangelism? And you'll get a different answer or different. Don't move, stay there. It's different all the time. Maybe a different church you go to, maybe a different location, different community. It means something different. So what I did, I went to the internet and I looked up evangelism. The first number 1 is what I've heard for all these years, the winning or reviving of personal commitment in Christ. But look at number 2. Evangelism is a militant. What? The kids would go, what? A militant. Engaged in warfare or combats, and I put in spiritual, that is, aggressive activity as in a cause. What I did is I put the 2 together. So I can live with the bottom part. It says evangelism then could be using of zeal to win or revive a person's commitment to Christ. Zeal. I looked it up in the Bible. There's over 40 different places where zeal is mentioned. And I wrote down, John 2:17, the disciples were discussing about, zeal for God's house. They were quoting Psalm 69:9. And then you go over to Philippians 3:16, and Paul said, with zeal I persecuted the church. Okay, that doesn't sound very good. What's zeal? Zeal is your passion. Zeal is where you spend your time, where you spend your money. Zeal gets the job done. When you're about to quit and you don't quit, you keep going on. That's what zeal does. Next slide, please. And I'm going to put these on here because they're going to go places. After a session of presenting ways to apply outreach, evangelism, an attendee approached the presenter and thanked him for the class. She continued to say, finally, a class that tells us how to do it. Now, I know I helped this young lady to stand out at the highway with Stephen. And again, I can help you, and I'm going to underline the word if you're willing to, okay? If you're willing to. So I can help you if you want to. Next slide. All right, David, how am I going to do this? Well, there's a couple ways you can do this. First of all, and you should have all got a card when you came in the door, I generally use a card, okay, when I approach and talk to people. But there's other ways of doing it. You have a powerful tool right here. Your church building is chock full of stuff. Take a couple home, something's come on, just hand it to your neighbor, to a friend, a colleague. Say, hey, we got this going on at the church. Let me give you this bulletin. There's countless different ways. Now, I don't know if you've seen these. These are powerful. These are really, really good. If you want to get with a person and he wants to study the Bible, give him these. He's going to come back with questions. You're going to continue this study. And I've sent these off. I've used these. I've sent these off in the mail to a fellow in Florida that we were trying to study with. Okay, that's one phase. You can physically give something, material. But there's another way of doing this. All right. Now I'm going to have a conversation with this guy, all right? And we're going to, 1,000 times a day you'll hear just a typical conversation. Hey, Dave, what's happening? How things going? Good morning to you. Good morning. Hey, tell me about what's going on. Not much. And then you have a conversation, right? You're talking to the guy, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, the final thing is, well, I'll see you later. Okay. Now, that's typical conversation that people have every single day. I've changed that some. This works. I usually get a comment, not all the time, but I usually get a comment from this conversation. Hey, Dave, good morning. Yes, it is. How's it going, Dave? Better than most. You've heard me say that around here. I know you have. And then you go through you're talking to this guy, you're talking back and forth. Okay, at the very end, he says, Dave, I'll see you later. And I say, I sure hope so. I have had more comments doing that. All right, we're still on the same slide. All right, BC, before children, and BE, before Elizabeth, I was bachelorette in Florida. I was a single guy, going to school during the day, to college, working hard at night in a furniture factory. Man, it was great, all right? We are a tight-knit Polish family. Give me a reason to go home and visit my family. I'm out of here. Give me a couple of cans of Coke and a candy bar. I'm in the car. I'm out of here. I'm going home, okay? Stay with mom and dad some. My brother Tom, golf and fishing at Tom's. Stay with Tom sometimes, right? Sometimes I'd stay with my older sister Kathy. 5-star meal, great coffee, terrific food. And sometimes I would stay with my baby sister. She lives on the lake. Do I say anything more? She lives on the lake, I stay with my baby sister. Of course I'm going to. Well, my baby sister's a real bubbly person. She's just full of life. She's a nurse, and she works hard. You come in the kitchen, good morning, David. And you know what I said, don't you? Yes, it is. And standing there is this little boy, you know, he's hearing all this conversation all these years, all this time. So that little boy's a man now, and we just came back a few weeks from the wedding ceremony. And my sister says, you know, of course, where he learned to say, yes, it is. And I said, well, it's probably from me. I gave my nephew something to remember me by. Okay? All right. You can see me, right, man? I'm going to sit over here. So move the clock forward some. Elizabeth and I are married, have our first baby, Mike. And Elizabeth grew up on a farm, so we visit a lot on the farm. And I couldn't come. I had a chore to do or something. And so they're at the farm, and Grandma's got the baby on her lap, right? Grandma's so proud of her, got a grandbaby and all this. She's holding the baby. And I come in, I hit the porch, and I do this. My mother, that baby jumped in the air. Oh my goodness, scared the life out of her. She said, I almost dropped that baby. And all I did was, see, I gave my nephew something to remember. I gave our son something to remember. All right? Along comes beautiful, lovely daughters. Did I get that good? I get it right? Okay. And so now we have 4 children. And I'm out and about doing stuff back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I'm coming home. I was privileged to go on 3 mission trips to Poland because of the grace of God and the grace of a good wife. She stayed home and watched 4 children while I was gone in the mission field. Thank you. So, coming home, car door opens. I'm not doing very good, but I whistled. And 4 kids come running, Dad's home. And yes, I do this with my grandkids. Grandpa's here. All right, you are in a dogfight for the attention of the person you're about to talk to. They've been to the bakery. They've been to the post office. They've been to the bank. You want to be number one. The one person that remembered when you talk to them. Because they do chores. I do chores. They're out seeing people. But you got to materials, or you say something. Now, I will let you use anything you hear today. Now, you can use it, but I want to say the disclaimer. You have to use it accurately. If you got a level 19 headache and you can hardly hold your eyes open, you don't say better than most. Please don't say, yes, it is, okay? And we're going to talk about this. You have to be accurate in your responses, okay? Just what I'm saying is be accurate in your responses when you talk to people. Tell them you got a level 19 headache. Tell them that. It's okay. I have said that to people. I'm just not feeling good today. It's okay to say that. All right, next slide. Number 6 we should be on. All right, here's where we're going in 2 weeks. We're in an introduction period right now, okay? And then looking for lookers. I see them every day. People are looking for something. They don't know what they're looking for. They're looking for something better than what they got. They're looking. They're all around you, and I'm going to show you who they are. All right? And then preparation. Folks, if these 2 are not working together, don't go out and, invite people to the banquet. You're going to get in a peck of trouble. You have to be, the heart has to be in it, and your mind has to be focused what you're doing. Take a couple days off. We'll, ask somebody next week to the banquet. These got to work, or you can get yourself in trouble. Heart and mind have to be in this together. All right, role play, that's what you came for, I know. I am going to show you stuff that happens all the time. These are general. 85% of the time, 80%, you're going to see these role plays today. Now, next week, they're a little bit more, I better put this in perspective before I do anything. I better think about my answer. Take a breath and give an answer. So you will see these left off 15% of the time, but you're going to see them. You will see what I show you next week. You will get people, I'd like to invite you, and you're going to get these kind of people. You got to be ready to answer those kind of things. Of course, I can't show you the 10 million different situations that you're going to come into when you do this, but I can show you a lot, and that's going to be my goal. So this time today, we'll have a couple of role plays, but not as serious as the ones, I call serious, challenging. I'll use the word challenging, as you're going to get next week. So I think I'm ready for the next slide. Let me see. Yes, next slide, please. Should be in slide 7. Okay. In 2 consecutive sessions using role play, the presenters will demonstrate to a group how to initiate a conversation about our Savior Jesus Christ. I was talking to Lewis about this. What I'm going to present the next 2 weeks is phase 1. There's a phase 2 and there's a phase 3 of this. We're going to talk about 90% of phase 1 and then 10% of phase 2 next week. So there's a plan. This is only breaking the ice. That's, you call it what you want, but I just want to start a conversation. And what happens after I start it, I'm going to show you in a little bit. I just want to start to say something. I haven't a clue of what to say to this person. Well, I think I can help you. All right. Let's see here. Next slide, please. Okay. This is a pause in the presentation because I wanted to ask the brethren here to come up for just a few minutes and to share what's on their hearts about evangelism. It could be anything. Those are just suggestive topics. They could do that. Or, the number one thing is from the heart. So, Dwayne, you're up first.
So I want to look at Philip and the eunuch tonight. It's getting a little bit of ringing. Okay. It's a familiar scripture, but I'm going to look at it maybe in a different light. And I'm going to tell some backstory, because if you don't know the backstory, what I'm going to look at really doesn't make sense. Acts chapter 2, we have Peter preaching the first sermon. And you read the end of it, and there's 3,000 people baptized. One sermon, 3,000 people. You read a couple chapters more. Chapter 4, we've got the number of believers are 5,000. So they've added 2,000 more. Wow. You read those scriptures, just each story in Acts, and it'll say something like, and many more were added to the church. Many more believers. Every one of when Peter and John go before the Sanhedrin, and after it'll say, and many more were added. We just keep seeing that. Many. Stephen stoned. And the disciples scatter. Philip, one of the 7, goes to Samaria. Okay? And Jesus foretold that. They would go to Jerusalem first, all of Judea, then to Samaria. And he's in the city of Samaria, the largest city in that region, and he's reaching a multitude. Okay, so many that the apostles in Jerusalem hear about it, and they send one of the Peter up to lay hands so that they will receive the Holy Spirit. We keep reading about many, thousands are being saved. And sometimes in our mind, that's evangelism, is reaching out to multitudes, and many are saved. But then we get to Philip and the eunuch. And I'm going to start in verse 26. So Philip is in Samaria, and he's in the middle of teaching many people. Now an angel of the Lord said to Philip, "Rise and go toward the south, to the road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza. This is a desert place." And he rose and went. And there was an Ethiopian eunuch. Okay, and you know the rest of the story. What struck me when I was looking at this one time is that Philip's up in Samaria. He's not in Jerusalem. But the angel said, leave what you're doing, and there's one person down there on that road. You go talk to him. Okay? Not many, which is what we've been reading about. There is one person that the angel is sending Philip to go talk to. Personal evangelism, which is what we're looking at tonight, is this one-on-one. And God thought this one soul was important enough that he didn't send any of the apostles. He wanted Philip to leave what he's doing in Samaria, go all the way south. I don't know what road he took. This is a long journey, though, many days. Go down there and meet this man because his soul is important. One soul, not many. And sometimes we've got this idea maybe that many, and what we want to look at is this one-on-one. One soul is important. And we need maybe to get over this idea that, oh, I can't reach many. This guy was one man in a chariot. Philip talked to him. He was baptized and saved. And it was important enough that God sent an angel to go get Philip to do it. That's what I want to leave today.
Thank you. Nine, please. Okay. All of us have different routines. Now, looking for the lookers, where are all these people? They're in your routines. We live in a neighborhood where there's a sidewalk. I mean, it just seems like the whole community is walking or jogging or walking a dog. They're outside doing something. Some people go to a gym. You know, some people have things that they do around the house or gets them out. What is that? Pickleball, whatever that stuff is. You know, whatever it is, we all have a routine. Incorporate this into your routine. See who you can talk to there. New places, travel, things are slowly opening up. There will be a session next week about, well, I'm away in Tupelo. Well, I'll tell you how you can invite people to the banquet in Tupelo, okay? Or overseas is a little more difficult, of course. Now, probably not overseas. It'll be a while before that opens up. But people are still traveling. It could be car, bus, boat, I don't care how, but you can evangelize away from home. Activities, sports. There's so many things going on. Was it 66,000 at the Razorback game? A crazy number of people. You don't have to I put it this way, you can start making acquaintances at some of the sporting events that you go to. There's just countless number of places. I'm just trying to get you to start thinking about your routine. Volunteer is the next thing. One of the girls spent time in a soup kitchen in Memphis. I'm not sure who that was. May have been Rebecca. Not sure. But she went and out of her way to volunteer for a program to feed the hungry. And Coach Farmer, real dear friend of mine, coaches inner city basketball, girls how to play basketball in the inner city. There's a program at the downtown church we used to get involved in called Outside the Walls. I mean, we were out fixing roofs, mowing lawns, knocking down drug houses. I mean, those people, we just went at it. Here, there's a similar program, if I understand. You have kind of a program here like that. But there's just countless number of people out there simply by mowing a lawn or raking leaves, you know, that could be part of your routine looking to help somebody. All right. First of two role plays. Here's where I get in trouble, but that's okay. I'm shopping, okay? I'm in the store, shopping, you know, getting all my stuff. The environment is a shopping, whatever. I don't try and get into name brands, okay? So here's the cash register guy, you know? And I'm going to invite the cash register guy to the banquet, okay? So as I approach him, I look to the left. Don't answer me. Just think in your mind, why is David looking to the left as he approaches the counter? Don't just think about it. I'm going to tell you in a minute. Why would I do that? I'm doing that because I don't want to get him in trouble and holding up a line. Now, he's got a job to do. I want to invite him without, you know, jeopardizing his job. Nobody's coming. It's a clear alley. All right, environment's good. The timing is good. Gender. He's not a threat to me. I'm not a threat to him. That's important. We'll talk about that more next week. But the environment has to have, you know, the environment's good, timing's good, and the gender. If one of those are not there, I'm passing this person by and trying to invite somebody else. You'll get in a peck of trouble if all three of those things aren't in line. If the environment's wrong, I'm passing them by. Environment, overrule, time, and gender. Start with the environment. We're in a store. It's a public place. I mean, it's a good place to invite somebody to the banquet. I do it all the time. So as I'm approaching the cashier, he's playing with his hearing aid. Took my hearing off. Life experience. We're in the same circle now. He has a hearing aid. I have a hearing aid. So we have something common. I'm in his circle. He's in my circle. Oh, what's the matter? Oh, the battery. We're talking about batteries. I thought I have 2 minutes with him. The first minute is talking about batteries. And I'm looking to my left, okay? So we're having a great conversation. And then, give me 2 seconds here. There we go. And I say, sir, I'm a Christian. I'd like to invite you to the Winsong Church, the non-denominational church. It's near 430 and Bridgeway. I think you'd enjoy the simplicity of it. This card has something about us on the back. On the front is our location. I'd like to invite you to worship it. And that's all it took. I had a rapport with him because my life experience of having a hearing aid, we were in the same circle. Do you need a hearing aid to invite a person with a hearing aid? No, but it sure helps. We had instant rapport because we're in the same life cycle, life experiences. Okay, now you see where I'm going with all this? This works. All right, here we go. Another one. Okay. I'm almost done. All right. We babysat 3 of our kids in Nashville, right? And so, yeah, Dad, can you come over and watch the kids? Amy and I are going to, yeah, okay, fine. Whoop, I'm out of my mark. I got to get over this way. So, all right, we go over there for 10 days. At the time, I think it was 12 years old, 7 and 5. We came home exhausted. After 10 days, we crashed. All right, so I'm cleaning out the car, and I find 2 loveys and a book. Now, to my grandchildren, a lovey is a little small stuffed animal. So maybe you don't know what a lovey is. That's what it is. So I got to go to the post office. I got to get this stuff back to the kids. So I get in my car, and I'm driving over to the post office, and I park right here by this guy. And he has his window rolled down, right? And he says, hey, how is your hybrid running? I have a Prius. And he had some other, he had a hybrid car too. So I said, well, it's doing pretty good. He said, what's wrong? He said, oh, my big battery, it's just messing up. And I said, oh, yeah, I read something about that where sooner or later you're going to have to replace the big battery, which is thousands of dollars, right? So I said, well, mine's running pretty good. The bar on mine gauge goes up to the top except for 2 levels. Oh, my problem is at the bottom I go up 2 levels. You know. So I said, well, it sounds like you're going to have to buy a new battery. So I said to him, sir, I'm a Christian. I want to invite you to worship at the Winsong Church. It's a non-denominational church. Real simple service. It's on 430 near Bridgeway. And I think you'd enjoy the service. Oh, I've been looking for a church. Honest. I mean, looking for the lookers. I found one. He's looking for a church. Great. And I started telling him what we do. And I said, well, you like singing? I was in the choir. I mean, this is too perfect. You know, it's true because they're out there. They're in your life experiences. The lookers are all around you. They're there. You just have to realize that they're there. Okay. So, all right. Slide 10, please. I have a dear friend named Ron who has PTSD. 101st Airborne. Hand-to-hand combat. Wounded 3 times in battle. So several people are helping him. I'm helping him too. So I bought him a hat. And on his hat it says, close your ears, Army. okay? Says Army, Vietnam. So he walks into a store, and three senior ladies, I wish I was there, three senior ladies walk up to him and say, "Sir, thank you for your service. Can we sing you the Star Spangled Banner?" "Well, yeah, you can sing me the Star Spangled Banner. Don't you know it made his day? I mean, his month, maybe, you know? Please, please, say to our vets, welcome home. Thank you for your service. If you do nothing else, you have no idea how much that means to us. Please do that." Takes what, 3 seconds? Something? All right. Now, I'm going to invite Lewis, this is his hat, to the banquet, okay? Lewis is standing in a store. The environment is a store. And let's see. Environment's good, looking good. Now, when a vet, you got to have 5 minutes. We love to share stories. We talk and talk. Yeah, he's done his head. Give it 5 minutes. On an average. I couldn't get rid of this master sergeant one time. He would not go away. He was telling me his whole career. Oh, anyway. Okay. So you want to gauge, it doesn't have to be 5, but just think if you have 5 minutes to do this, all right? And gender. I doubt if he thought I was a threat to him, and I certainly, vice versa. Gender matters, okay? So all 3 elements are lined up. It's a go. All right. 2-part, I am going to meet and greet Lewis, okay? And then I'm going to invite him to the banquet. I think I can do this. Welcome home. Thank you for your service. I see by your hat you're a Iraqi war veteran. Which branch of the service? It doesn't say Air Force. What branch of the service? Oh, you were Air Force. Oh, okay. I was Army. Had this real talkative master sergeant said, "Go Army," so I went Army. Okay. So, all right. And then what was your MOS job? What was your job? Oh, I was a loader. Okay, a material loader. Oh, I was trained as a air traffic controller. Okay, cool. All right, that's great. Lewis, how long did you stay in? 35 years. Wow, that's terrific. Oh, that's me. I'm only 3 years. I volunteered to go for 3 years, and Mr. Nixon was looking for votes, got out early, and sure enough, voted for him. Okay? So I feel at this point very comfortable with Lewis. I feel that we have a rapport. We're in the same circle, aren't we? He's in my circle. I'm in his circle. Do you have to be a vet to invite? Well, no, but it sure helps because the conversation usually goes pretty smooth between vets. Okay? So I said, "Brother, I'm a Christian. I want to invite you to worship at the Winsong Church of Christ. It's near 430 in Bridgeway, non-denominational service, Jesus Christ only. I think you would enjoy the service. This card will talk about us, what we believe in. And the front is location." And I gave him the card. I gave Lewis the card to take with him. Now, I planned for you to be up here, but it didn't work out, okay? So you got off the hook. So. All right. So whatever Lewis would say back to me, I invited him. That's where I'm going to go. For example, I got kids and young kids, and what do you do to take care of children? And that's where I'm going to talk about. Whatever he says to me, I don't have a 6-point bulletin for every person. I'm not going to throw that away. You're going to go where this person wants you to go. And next week, he may say something very controversial. That's okay. Right now, you're not going to solve anything 2 to 5 minutes on the sidewalk. You're not, and we'll go into that next week. But you're going to listen, remember what he says to you. So, and then we're gonna leave each other. I may get a fist bump and say, "Thank you for your service. God bless you. Enjoy your day." Okay. So I talk to a lot of vets because it's my mission to welcome home all vets, but especially Vietnam vets. We weren't welcomed home. We weren't. Talk to a Vietnam vet. He'll tell you about it. So, okay, enough of the commercial. All right. Teachers next up here. I have taught middle school, high school, junior college, and college classes. You want to talk teacher? I can talk teacher to you all day long if I need to. Okay. You have to be a teacher to invite? No, you don't have to be. But it sure helps. All right. My best friend for life, Randy, he baptized me. We worked together at a school. We studied and baptized a faculty member. So Okay, I could talk teacher. It's helpful. Machine operator. Back in Florida, batching it. Oh, they're going to school during the day and working in a factory at night. You have a dresser, and the dresser has 4 drawers, and you got to have a piece of wood to hold the dresser, right? Well, what's holding that piece of wood? In the sides are 4 rectangular slots that are cut by a machine. That's called a mortise machine. The machine was as big as this table. All right? You got 4 razor-sharp blades going. I had to cut within a 32nd of an inch. I would get dirty, grubby, just sawdust. I'd come home filthy. I loved that job. It was the best job I ever had because I was my own boss. Okay. You want to talk machines? I could talk machines, but you get it, don't you? You don't have to be. But getting that in the same circle, it sure does help. Are you getting the idea of life? Each one of you has life experiences. I don't have them. I can't touch the people in your circle. Maybe I've never been a fireman, or policeman, or, a nurse or something. I can't touch those circles. I could still ask you to the banquet, and I wouldn't hesitate. But if your life experiences are really important, where are these people you're looking for? They're all around you in your life experiences. Cash in on them. Cash in on them. It works. All right, D, project manager. I worked for 15 years for a very, very large corporate company as a project manager. When I went there, I put a stake in the sand. I am a Christian. And I didn't get up on the desk and say, "You sinners, you're going." No, I didn't do that. I led by example. I was there on time in the morning. I worked hard all day at my job. I left at 5 o'clock. Believe it or not, I left at 5 o'clock. My peers started calling me for advice. My manager gave me the hardest accounts. I mean, they were tough customers. And he gave it to me on purpose. He knew I would finish that account. It's not a problem. We're at a meeting. Who's got the Murphy account? Dave's got it. Okay. I mean, he didn't even hesitate to go on. He knew that I was going to close that account. I was going to do it. That was my reputation. So I led by example. After some time, people stopped cursing around me, honest. People didn't tell me the dirty stories around the coffee pot, honestly. People apologized when they cursed around me. "Oh, sorry, David, slip." Because I was not a good project manager. I was the best, the very best project manager there. Okay, I put a stake in the sand. I'm not putting up with this stuff. You don't get invited to the parties, and you're not going to get invited to a bunch of stuff. In Vietnam, you can get drugs like at a candy store. Probably similar stories, Louis, different places. On several occasions, guys would walk into my barracks, walk up to me. "Hey, man, are you cool?" No, I'm not cool. They're about to do drugs in that barracks. They wanted me out of there because the Army has undercover narcotics agents in the ranks looking for these kind of guys. So I got out of the barracks. Story told to me that a dust-off helicopter is a helicopter that has this big red plus on one side and a big red plus on the other side. No miniguns, no M60 machine guns. Those people go in there with one thing. They go in there with courage. That's the only weapon they got. They're the most courageous people. They're going into firefight, picking up the wounded, and getting out of there trying to take them to the hospital. So they're flying over the camp, and guys on the ground are shooting at the dust-off helicopter. They're high on drugs. They're shooting at our own wounded because they're high on drugs. My mom and dad taught me better. I'm not going to do drugs. I put a stake in the sand. What I'm saying to you is this. Put a stake in the sand. You would be surprised. People will, the light, the bugs go to the light. You are going to draw people to you like you never had before. because you put a stake in the sand. And I'm not putting up with corporate America is looking for moral, ethical people. What? Yes. They can't find them. Why not it be you? They're looking for you. I can't find moral, ethical people to work for them, who come in on time, who do a good job, and work for them. All right. That's where you're going to find some of the people that you're looking for. All right, the last one is the best one. Husband, father, and grandfather. I love my job. It's 24/7, 365. I love my job. We do a lot of babysitting because we want to do a lot of babysitting, all right? And we're helping out our kids or, young parents. It's a lifelong job. I'm going to do it forever. We just baptized recently our oldest grandbaby, 13, I believe. She was baptized. And I'm going to tell you one of my prejudices. This is one of the milestones in a child's. How do I know I'm raising this child right? What do I have? This is a mile marker. It's not. This is one. This child has her own faith. Think about what I just said. She has her own faith. Not mom and daddy's faith, not Uncle Charles, not Uncle David, her own faith. That's a big mile marker, not the last one, but it's a big one. So I think it's time, for Greg to come up. The next slide. And it's the same scenario in 3 to 5 minutes. Thank you.
Well, I know it's no secret that I've been involved in evangelism a long time. I'll just narrow down to one thing, and it's playing off what Dwayne said, is the aspect of one-on-one. The most sustainable thing I've been part of is facilitating ministry, facilitating one-to-one ministry. So that's through meeting the kids in our inner city work over the years and involving them in our youth mentoring program, getting folks like you to come and sit with them weekly, just sharing time, spending time doing a Bible lesson, talking, encouraging, praying, what's on your heart, what's in your life. So I've got, how many folks in here? Stand up, the ones that are involved right now. That would be like the Prestons and Lewis and there. Oh, 2 elders are involved in my program. That makes me feel really good. And then great people like that, the Bradshaws. I have around 35 volunteers on a weekly basis. That kind of got knocked back a little last year, but we're gonna rebuild back up to that. Numbers are irrelevant because what we're doing is giving children a point of reference. My chief recruiter, the way the ministry works now, is my beautiful wife. We've got 15 children probably in our program that she has met through being a teacher at Boone Park Elementary and now North Little Rock Middle School. Cheap commercial for our work. We have 5 girls that we met over the last year that we're wanting to find people to come and be that person, sit with them either on Monday or Tuesday evening, share a Bible lesson, share your life. It's very low-key, non-threatening. We do this at the Summers Avenue Church of Christ building now. Those same children were here every Tuesday and Thursday during the summer, being tutored. Had people from here helping with that as well, giving them a point of reference to say, who is Jesus? Who are the people of Jesus that love me?
Thanks, Greg. Slide 12, please. This is probably the most important thing I'm going to say tonight. I mean, there's a lot of important points, I think, but if you don't remember anything, remember this. When heart and mind are together, I'm going to go out and invite people to the banquet. Lord, who do you want me to talk to today? Well, Lord, there's a pandemic. What don't you understand? Yeah, we understand there's a pandemic going on. I was just evangelistic during the pandemic as I am now, just about. So, first part of the pandemic, hunkered down, getting groceries at the curb, just staying home. Lord, who do you want me to talk to today? I got to the mailbox. There's a guy laying bricks here. The mailbox fell down. I invite him to the banquet. Lord, who do you want me to talk to today? So I go out. I think I take the garbage out or something to the curb. There's a guy working on the AT&T tower. Invited him to the banquet. Lord, who do you want me to talk to today? So we have this place behind ourselves that our grandkids call the wilderness. Grandma takes them out there hunting bugs, moths, worms. They love it out there because it's really tall grass. It's a buffer between our place and the next place. But the kids call it the wilderness, and they love going out there with Grandma, hunting bugs. So I was out there I don't know why I was out in the wilderness. I was out there. There's an open manhole cover right here. I got grandkids, Call the city, come down here and look at this manhole cover. Guess who I invited to the banquet? Lord, you want me to talk to the city guy today? That's who you want me to talk to. And there are many such things. I'm going to tell you one more that's close. I call it a gold nugget in my heart, okay? We lost our washing machine during the pandemic. What? You got to be kidding. We lost them. Now what do we do? We're in trouble. But my cute little wife is a brilliant internet hunter. She found this really good used washing machine on the internet. Oh, okay. So this terrific kid, everybody's a kid at my age, in his 20s, clean cut, had a vision. He was going to do this. And I was just so impressed with his attitude, and he had looking forward kind of a kid. We spent maybe a little bit too long, 10, 15 minutes during the time he's installing it, about the Bible, about life and everything. So be very serious, and I mean dead serious. If you're going to pray this, you better get ready to meet somebody, invite them to the banquet. So it doesn't matter. All right, here's where I get in some trouble. Be genuine. Excuse me. Think before, we're on B. We're on B. Okay. Think before saying something. So I'm in a restaurant in Searcy having a real good meal, nice restaurant, and sitting here are 4 guys, right? And they're Vietnam vets. I wasn't prying. They're so, on a restaurant, you're so close, you can't help but hear the conversation. My mission is to what? Invite Vietnam vets, all vets, but especially Vietnam vets. So I walk over to the table. I said, guys, welcome home. Thank you for your service. I was in Vietnam too. Where were you at? Just like that. I was at Duck Pho, down the Red Ball. Where's Duck Pho? Just like that. Oh, well, it's near Chu Lai, Queen Yan, and Ban Me To It. You were there. Oh, my heart be still. Can you imagine if these guys didn't hear of Chu Lai, Queen Yan, and Ban Me To It, I'd be a grease spot on the floor. I didn't have my evangelism hat with me, Back up the tape. Here's what I should have said. Think before you say something. I didn't. I just so happy to talk to Vietnam vets. I said, guys, welcome home. I was in Vietnam too at Duck Pho. It's near Chu Lai, Queen Yan, and Ban Me To It. Oh, great, That's what I would have got. I'm saying is a bad example of me inviting, I wasn't looking to invite them to the church. At the time, my mindset was, here's 4 Vietnam vets. So, express your life experiences. Do it. But maybe pause for a second or two. We talked about accuracy a few minutes ago. I wasn't quite accurate because these guys would have really got, I'm telling you, they really would have got mad at me. Lewis is going, yeah, they would have got real mad at me if I could. They could have been from Da Nang. Da Nang's up here and Duck Pho's down here. There's thousands of villages between Da Nang and Duck Pho. They just happened to know where these 3 small villages, thank you, they knew where Chulai, Queen Anne, and Bamituit were. Thank the Lord. I'd have been a pack of trouble. So just, before you answer sometimes, take a deep breath. All right. In the beginning, take a partner. Husband and wife is a natural, best friends. And, just if you can, go in pairs at the beginning. Because environment, right? Time, gender. Sometimes the environment is a little flaky. And would it be good to run it by a second person saying, oh, what do you think? Should we, approach this person? Well, I'm not so sure. Well, then you pass them by. So at the beginning, later on, you go by yourselves and stuff, but take a partner with you if you can when you start doing this thing. It really, really helps. All right, be patient with yourself. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. I'm about to make one. I'm starting off role-playing with a bad one. I messed up so bad. But I'm going to show you a bad one first. I still make him. I'm still going to make it. Called life. Somebody said, oh, it's called life. So be patient with yourself. All right. D, be genuine. I am a Christian. I used to say to people, I'd like to invite you to the Winsong Church, and go through that. And majority of the time, they would say, what did you just say? I had to repeat the whole thing over again. So I changed, and you know what I'm going to say now. I am a Christian. I want to invite you. Ever since I changed that, nobody asked me to repeat anything. I'm not selling shoes or, phones or something. I am a Christian. And nobody has ever asked me to repeat the whole thing about it's on I-40, bridge, all that. It stopped. I don't know why they didn't understand the other stuff, but I had to do something because I got tired of repeating the invitation at least twice. So just a little nugget in your pocket there. You don't have to say, you could say something like that to present your credentials as I'm saying I'm a Christian is my credentials. That's where I'm coming from. All right. If it doesn't look right, feel right. Another role play here. First congregation in Coldwater where I gave this, I had to go buy a projector. They didn't have anything like this, okay? They had an overhead screen, but I had to buy something. So I'm in a store, and in the store they got those little, I can't go that way. You got these little markers on the floor, right? All right, so I'm standing on a marker. There's a guy over here standing on a marker, and I was wearing my hat. Wherever I put it, it's down over there. I was wearing my evangelism hat. And he starts talking to me. Now, he's about 6 feet away, right? And it's a busy store, and he's talking loud, and I'm talking loud. Everybody around us heard about our military experience because it's a busy store. So I'm going to invite him to the banquet. He went to the same boot camp I went. He was just like my brother. Oh, you went there? Yeah, me too. You went up agony and misery? Yeah, I went up agony and misery too. We were on the same terrible hills, but it was terrible hills. Anyway, so we're talking, and I'm going to invite him. And then he lets out, I'm real hard of hearing. Oh, the environment just changed. Oh, the time's okay, and the gender's okay. We're not a threat to each other. I had a couple minutes. Oh, my goodness. I had to make a choice. If I wanted to invite him to a banquet, I am a Christian. See, that's what I would have to do. I would embarrass him and me. I passed him up. My heart broke because he's my brother, really my brother in a lot of ways. You got to pass people up sometimes when the environment's not right, the timing's not right, the gender's not right. Pass them up, you're going to get a peck of trouble. I tried to find him afterwards. After I looked through the store, I couldn't find him. I wanted to invite him so bad, but it just didn't work out. On occasion, do some advertising. This works, folks. I do wear these shirts, so I'm not just saying this. All right, I've got me, if I can get it on thing here, be the good. I wear that. Oh, that's a good shirt. Lads to Leaders, I think you've heard about that. If you ever it's a lot of time to do it, but it is such a good program. This is from the downtown church. All 6 of our names on this shirt. I love shirts. All 6 Dominski names are on here. So I love this one. This is a vacation Bible school. Look at this one. And it says lifeguard. And on the back it has Matthew where Jesus walks on the water. This is a cool shirt. I wear T-shirts all summer long. That's all I wear is a T-shirt because I like this. I saved the best for the last. This T-shirt is a very special T-shirt, and I think the girls there know what I'm going to do here. Elizabeth has one of these that say Grandma. On the back of here is the name of our 8 grandchildren. This is a good shirt to wear if you want to talk. I'm a grandpa, right? I'm going to grandpa circle, right? I are a grandpa. So this possibly a way. I'm just throwing stuff out there. You don't have to wear a T-shirt. I wear T-shirts all the time. I got to go on, and then I got to tell you about my brother in Coldwater, one of the elders there. Is a real close friend. Him and his dad and I were eating at a restaurant. He's Air Force, Lewis, and he has Air Force on his hat. He had his Air Force hat on. I had my Vietnam hat on. So we went to this restaurant. We are sharing our face all over the place. People are walking up to the table, had a good meal. People were following us outside, talking about, it was a manner day, And so when we're 3 of us by ourselves, David's upset. He said, I can't take this no more. This ain't happening no more. You guys have hats on. I haven't been in the military. I'm going to go out and get me a hat. Okay, David, go buy a hat. It's okay. And he's going to put something on it. I got to show you what David bought. And we'll go to the next slide, please. Look what he bought. Ask me. He's walking around the city with a hat. Okay, I'll ask me what, So you just got to love his attitude as a Christian. He was going to find, it's sort of like in the military, find a way. He said, okay, I wasn't in the military, I'm going to wear a hat. Go to the next slide. All right, this is y'all came for on the role plays. Again, every bit of this really happened to me. So I'm married to a nurse practitioner. I get away with nothing. I can't get away with nothing. I'm going this way, Matt. So taking blood pressure, regular basis. And my blood pressure is 2 over 100 and climbing. So I go to my wife and I said, honey, it's 200 over 100. And I remember what she said to me. What she said to me was, get in the car. We're going to the emergency room. Okay. We go over to the emergency room. We check in. I'm sitting there. I'm not in any pain, but my blood pressure is going through the roof, and she's not taking any chances. So I'm sitting there. You went to emergency room. You're waiting and waiting and waiting. I said, I'm going to invite that lady to the banquet. I sure am going to do this. So when my name was called, I went up to the counter. You know how there's a glass between you and the person. And so I got my card ready to go over here, my right hand, And, okay, back and forth, we're talking. And then all of a sudden she says, give me your hand. She didn't specify which hand, so I gave her this hand, put it right in front of her, and froze, realizing the mistake I made. I was supposed to put it in this hand. So I'm there, actually I'm frozen. The lady was a pro. It didn't bother her one bit. She put the thing over and, okay, sir. So that was terrible. I went back to the seat trying to dig a hole and cover up if I could find one. I messed up big time. I embarrassed her. I embarrassed myself. Is there anything I could have done to fix that? No. Is there anything I could say to fix that? No. Go on and learn from it. There'll be more. There'll be more mistakes. And it's okay. I'd rather be a fool for Jesus than anything else. I'm going to be a fool. Might as well be for Jesus. Right? That's the way I feel about it. I'll go out there and make those mistakes. Okay. I love this one. You may not, but I love this is one. B is top shelf. So I'm shopping in a store. Okay. And I turn down this aisle, and I don't know, I was looking for something. And right next to me was this cute as a button little senior lady. She was so cute. You want to hug her, that kind of person. You just love to hug her. And she said, sir, could you get that top can off the 3rd shelf? I can't reach it. Oh, yeah, of course. So I got the can. I handed her the can and says, well, that's why my wife married me, because I have long arms to reach things. She just burst into the biggest laughter you ever heard. I was laughing. She was laughing. It was a perfect moment. Here's what I'm saying. I invited her to the banquet. Yeah. Do not use humor frequently. It is rare that you use it. I used it. It was a perfect moment to use humor. She thought it was the funniest thing she ever heard. But we're going to talk about next week. Boy, that didn't go over too good. So there's times to use it. Use it sparingly. There are times. And as you go along, you'll get better at this. You'll know when to do stuff and not to do it. Environment was right. The timing was right. That little lady was no threat to me. And she came to me. That's another point. She talked to me first. That's a big one. If someone talked to you first, okay, that's big. And I wasn't a threat to her. I was twice her size, but I was not a threat to her. All right. All right, this is a classic to me. So I'm shopping, I'm going through the store, and I turn down this aisle. At the end of an aisle, there's a man there, and he's going like this. He sees something, oh no, and he puts it, he's back and forth, putting things back. Look at, oh no. He went at that for I don't know how long, and I thought, that environment's wrong. I mean, I can't talk to this guy. I can't. He's out of his comfort zone. Don't talk to a person out of their comfort zone, okay? Don't do it. So I thought, well, I got to get something down this aisle anyway, right? So I went down the aisle, and I got close to him, and he settled down. So, I'm a Christian, and I invited him to the banquet, gave him the card. And then I noticed on his hand he had a wedding ring. And I thought, well, I'm going to take this opportunity. You remember Stephen saw the bag of grain? He noticed that? You got to be looking around. He had a wedding ring. I said, sir, do you have children? Oh, yeah, I've got children. Well, I have 4 children and 8 grandchildren. At the Church of Christ, we take care of the physical needs of our children. Not only that, we take care of their spiritual needs by having a class about Jesus Christ. How did that sound? Oh, yeah, that sounds real good. See, there's going to be times like that. You can pick up on things. Go for it. As you do this, you'll get better at it. You'll get better at it. Where you can see those. Take the opportunity to get into another circle. He had kids. I had kids. I'm in his circle. He's in my circle. Those where you find the lookers in your circle. All right. The dentist. Oh, I got to tell you before, there was a part B, over there where I froze up. I'll tell you part B next week about what I did afterwards with the card in the face of the person. So, all right, the dentist. So, UAMS is where I go to the dentist, putting on a mask, because I'm a good citizen. I'm going to wear a mask. Everybody's wearing a mask. I go up to the counter. There's 2 ladies sitting, and they're just lackadaisical, just sitting there, asking me, taking temperature and all that. I'm about to invite them to the banquet. And like you flicker lights, all of a sudden they came to attention, put their glasses on, make sure they were proper. So what's going on? Down to my left, down the hallway, were coming 2 people, man and a woman. Had to be management. Because, boy, they look different than 3 seconds ago. So, all right, I got a decision to make. I think I have enough time to invite them to the banquet. I think I do. It's one of those times, after doing this long enough, I think it's worth the chance. So, I'm a Christian. I want to invite you to the Winsong Church. I do that. About 2 seconds before they reached the table, I was finished. I turned around. I heard the man say, "That's exactly what you 2 need, church." So I'm glad I did that to him. It was kind of funny, but sometimes you have to make judgment calls like that. Wait till you get a little experience, and then, you'll be better at it. Okay. E. Move that cart. Less said. Now, this is where David was out of my comfort zone. It's going to happen to you. I'm shopping again, okay? And I'm down this aisle, and I'm looking to buy paper articles, napkins, rolls or something. And I took my time, and I look up, and there's this lady looking at me. Oh, my goodness, I left the cart. She can't get by. Oh, cardinal sin of shopping is you leave your shopping cart where somebody can't get by. And I apologized profusely. Oh, it's okay, sir. No. And I apologized profusely. And about the 3rd profusely, I thought, I'm out of my comfort zone. Calm down, David. And I did. The sweetest lady. So I invited her to the banquet. I'm a Christian. I invited her to the banquet. And she said, I'm going to tell this to my husband. He's the spiritual leader of our family. I'm going to tell him what you told me. Yes. But I had to get back in my comfort zone before that happened. So sometimes, remember, when I had the card, the less said, the better. There's nothing you can do to fix that. You just go on. All right. This is my favorite story. This is the last one, and then we'll have Lewis close us out. So, 3 grandkids in Nashville and 5 grandkids here. Well, my son did a real good job of teaching those 3 kids to fish. They can fish really well. So we got 5 grandbabies. 2 of them are in their 2s, you know. So we got between a 5 and 8-year-old here, 3 kids. Well, Grandpa says it's time that you learn how to fish. That's right. You're going to learn how to fish. So I called up all the parents, and 3 kids were at Lake Willistine, okay? So we're fishing. I got a granddaughter here with a parent, with the father. I got a grandson here with the father. I got the sister of the boy. I'm helping them. So I'm baiting hooks and tangling lines. I mean, fish are biting. The baby on the end caught a fish. Oh my goodness, I caught a fish. I got a fish. So everybody's all excited. I took the hook, you know, showed them. I take the hook off, and I bought this big pail, and so the fish could swim around and they can go visit the fish if they want to look at the fish. So, you know, the attention span of this group between 5 and 8 is going like this. You know, there's a sand. You ever seen those sand things going through the thing? It's getting like this, folks. This is a gold nugget in my heart. I remember it to the day I die. The 2 girls, they're bored. Grandpa, can we have a worm? We wanted to see it squiggle around in our hands. I each gave the girls a worm. And I said, well, bring it back. We're running low on bait. Oh, okay, we'll bring it back. But then one of my brilliant son-in-law said, we ought to take the kids to the park. Right across the bridge there at the lake is a park. So everybody went to the park. My youngest daughter brought her family, had a good time. David, why are you telling us this story? Here's why. Kids came at 8:30. Grandpa was there at 8 o'clock to find a place to fish, okay? So before the bridge, if you know the lake, there's a spot just to the right before the bridge, terrific for fishing. The weeds are out of the way, the water's deep, perfect spot to fish, okay? So while I was there, where's Lewis's hat? I'm going to use your hat, Lewis. So I'm wearing my evangelism hat, you know, and all of a sudden, from across the bridge, somebody started to play taps. Oh, I came to attention, took my hat off, and I bowed. I was thinking of the 13 people we lost recently. And when taps were over, there was a couple standing right here. Of course, I didn't see him. I was intent. I think it was a Boy Scout troop. So, sir, she said, do you think that this was for the fallen soldier? I said, ma'am, I don't know if it was, but in my heart it was. Okay? We had the best conversation. 7 to 10 minutes is an eternity, you know, what I'm doing. You know, we were looking at 1 or 2 minutes. They heard about the church. They knew about Windsong. Invite them to the banquet. Moral of the story. Moral of the story. If you can, when you're out and about, I don't care what you're doing. I was worried about bobbers and worms and poles. I wasn't looking to invite anybody to the banquet. But I had the perfect storm. I had a perfect environment. I had a perfect time. I had a perfect gender. I couldn't pass that up, so, you know, they got invited to the banquet. Put some cards in your pocket or your purse, you know, and close you up. And this is why I think you should do that. In 1 Peter 3:15, be ready always to give an account to anyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you. Lord, who should I talk to today? Close this out. Go to the next slide, the last 14. Thank you.
Hey, Holstein, what are you waiting for? Well, I got some friends coming to pick me up for church. Well, I would like to go to church. I've been looking for a church. So that was the Duck Woman, a really good friend of mine. I was in school at Altus, Oklahoma, about 30 years ago, about this time of the year. And I found the church. I had somebody come pick me up. And she wanted to go the following week. I was 18 years old. Didn't know anything about evangelism. I just knew I needed to get to church because my mom was going to ask me if I went to church, and I was going to have to tell her yes. So I found the church in Altus, Oklahoma. Hudson and Elm Church of Christ. The following week, Duck Woman was true to her word. She came to church with me. So we walked into the church building. We went to a Bible class together. Are you two together? Oh, no, we're just friends. No, we're at the base. Are you a Christian? Well, yes, I am. Are you a Christian? The Duck Woman wasn't. Would you like to study? So this is what happened. A family, the Seibert family at that congregation, actually took us on a Thursday night to their home and fixed us a meal. So you had me at hello with the meal. The Duck Woman is from Asheville, North Carolina. She loves some Southern cooking. She's a great cook herself. And so we had dinner. And then we went into their other room, and we studied. We studied the scriptures. And we used these two Bibles. And these are the Bibles we use, actually, right here. This is the New Testament, King James Version. Not that it matters here for this particular example. But in this Bible, this is my Bible, or at least the Bible I give Duck Woman, it had scriptures and it had a little bit of a script. In the Bible, for the one that was leading the class, it had the same script with the page numbers. So you could tell the person who didn't know their way around the Bible what page to turn to. So we studied with Duck Woman. We baptized Duck Woman that night. I think it floored me. I'd never done anything like that before. I just left home. I was for sure I had time to get to learn how to teach, and I was going to get to my next location, my base, and that's where I met Brandy, and then I would go settle in, find another church. But this was in school, in transition, as an 18-year-old, and some people actually taught me how to teach. Not only did we teach Duck Woman, when Duck Woman's boyfriend came to town, we taught and baptized him as well. I thought, man, how easy was that? How easy. Of course, 30 years later, different scenarios, different people, and a different history for both of those two individuals. But the bottom line that I like to leave with you tonight is you don't have to do everything, and you don't have to know everything. You just got to do something. You got to do what you can do. And, there's so many things that we can do to reach out to people. So many things we can do within our talent pool, the things that we're capable of doing. Miss Seipert fixed an amazing meal. Mr. Seipert actually taught most of the lesson. So he taught, she cooked, and my part there was eating. and I was privileged to be able to baptize Kim, my friend. What a blessing that was. So just like Brother David's saying, those opportunities will present themselves in the most crazy times, just out of the blue. Be alert for those opportunities. I was waiting at a bus stop, basically, for a ride to church, and the opportunity came to me. And had I not been thinking, I was like, you don't want to come to church with me. We're all young and stuff. Wouldn't have another sister in Christ or another brother for that matter. Who knows how many more lives were affected by my friend, the Duck Woman. What a blessing it is to have people and have a family who have different talents and are able. Thinking through what Greg mentioned, being a light in a young person's life, doing that together as a team. There's so many other things we do. We appeal to our children's program here, and we bring people in the doors because of it. We all leave, and we look at all those flags on both sides, and then we look at that message over the door that says, go make disciples of all nations. What is it that you're going to do? What is it, the talent that you have that you can bring to the table? That you can bring to the table that is not necessarily the teaching points, but they're serving points that bring people to Christ. You do things for people. This will take time. We are not promised tomorrow. But while we have the day, we should do what we can. We should do what we can. I can't tell you when Christ is coming back, but I would like him to find us about his business when he does. So what a blessing it is to get this kind of lesson as we start on our path to being about the Father's business. That was 5 minutes and 15 seconds. I'm going to stop. So I want to thank you for your time and attention tonight. I think this is a worthy subject to be talking about. I've had multiple people approach and ask, what can we be doing in this area? The church is going to invest in the house-to-house and heart-to-heart program, which will send flyers about this congregation out to all the zip codes within I think it's 2,300 homes will get a flyer about this church. Anybody who's moving in new will get a flyer and then an invite about a month after they get settled. And when they come in the door, what's your part going to be? Is it going to be having lunch with them? Is it going to be just putting your hand out and saying, welcome to Windsong? Is it going to be just being a warm, smiling face? What is it going to be? I think that's important. We're not just having a lesson for 2 Sundays to fill space. I think as we march forward with our efforts for evangelism, There's some things that we need to internalize. What is my part going to be? What is my part going to be? So keep that and take it with you for the week. Think through it and pray about it. If you weren't able to take the Lord's Supper this morning, John Bradshaw will offer it after I say the last prayer. Let's have a prayer. Father, we're so thankful for another day that you've blessed us to be together, another day that wasn't promised, but yet we got to live through it, Father, and worship you again. And what a blessing that was. We're so thankful for today. Thank you for my brother David as he presented his life experiences and his efforts towards evangelism and giving us some ideas that we can use in our lives to kind of break through and teach what you want us to teach, Father, which is salvation through your Son. We know that you love the whole world. Help us to help in that effort to bring them to your Son. Father, we're so thankful for all the blessings you give us, for our food, our clothing, our shelter. We're thankful for this building that we get to worship in. We're thankful for our members. May we grow in love together as a family here at Windsong. Help us to have a great week. Help us to come back at the next appointed time if it's your will. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. Y'all are dismissed.